Those Were the Days is filmed before a live internet audience.
Hello and welcome to Those Were the Days, the show that talks about old TV through new eyes. I am this week's host, Amy, and here at my palatial estate, I have decided to invite a few friends to come talk TV with me. First up, it is the lovable Travis.
So I got asked the other day to invest in some property. It's right around the corner from my house. I don't know though. They keep saying it's beachfront. There are no beaches here. I'm not sure. I'm just on the fence.
That'd be fine. We have the adorable Audie.
So there's this case. It's exactly the kind of case I'm extremely qualified to take, but this lady thinks I'm a bum and shouldn't be on the case. But that's what I do. I take cases and I figure them out. It's my job to take cases and figure them out. It's what I do. I work on cases. So now here's this case, but nobody wants me on the case. Well, except the supposed professional they brought in to work on the case. She's the only one who thinks I should be on the case, but I'm not on the case. Even if they asked me, I wouldn't take the case. But am I working on the case? The case nobody wants me on? The case the police don't want me taking? The case that the professional who happens to write novels actually wants me to take? Am I working on that case? Maybe.
The case for Magnum. Magnum's case.
You still said case fewer times in the episode.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And the king of short shorts, Steven.
Yeah, Hawaii Metro Police. Whoa, slow down. A man just ran by you with no clothes on? Okay, mostly no clothes on. No, ma'am, it is not illegal in Hawaii to have mostly no clothes. How nude was the guy? Shorts up to... Oh, yeah, that just sounds like Thomas Magnum. We get 2 or 3 calls a week, but unfortunately there's nothing we can do about his obscenely short shorts. No, ma'am. No, nor his exposed bearskin rug of a chest, as you put it. Uh-huh. Yeah, thanks for calling.
Yes, that's right, gang. We're going back to Hawaii for Magnum PI. God, I love this show. I'm going to tell you, though, I did have to watch this episode twice before I managed to get all the plot pieces in some sort of order. It was a lot.
I had to rewatch the last part of it just tonight to remember, like, how did this actually end?
We'll get there, but that is a problem. We've discussed Magnum PI before,
Yes.
but this week we are discussing, oh God, why do I have so many windows open? Okay. It's fine. Season 7, episode 8, Novel Connection, the crossover episode with one of my top favorite shows, Murder, She Wrote. All right, we've been over it. We've done the Magnum PI thing. Has anyone watched more Magnum PI since the last time we watched Magnum PI?
No, but I regret it.
Unfortunately not. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I have actually watched a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And it was a while back, and so I think it was still available somewhere other than the Roku channel.
Yeah, it's a little shady to find, but I think there's maybe also a Samsung channel. There's so many Samsung channels.
The best thing about the Roku channel's presentation of it, though, is they put the commercials at the natural commercial breaks, which I really appreciated.
It's always great.
It's so close.
It's close.
It's off by like a half second, and you're like, man, you almost had it.
But better than lots of other streamers do it. The only thing I hated about it was that they weren't period accurate, so it really messed me up.
Yeah.
Like I was just waiting for like a Tide commercial from 1989 to be on TV, and it
Campbell's
just
Soup.
it didn't pull it off for me, and that was what made me the most upset.
Yeah. So this episode originally aired November 19th, 1986. So okay. Like I said, a convoluted plot.
Yeah.
Can I
I
say one more time? I just love going back to these shows where they had a trailer for the episode
yes,
right before the episode.
I love it.
And it still throws me because I'm like, wait, did this happen already? And we're getting the no,
Right.
this is
Nope.
the first part of things. What's going on
It's
here?
a micro
Oh,
trailer.
right.
It's not, but it could almost be like a content warning. You know what I mean? It's like,
Uh-huh.
oh,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing today. All
Mhm.
right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like there's some of them where you could see the beginning and you're like, you know what? I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna watch this
Yeah,
one.
that's true.
That's a good point though too, because you had kids like you watched all these shows in the living room, you know,
Yeah.
and your kids are running through,
Yeah.
or most of the time sitting with you because their TV is
Mhm.
over. I mean, there aren't any cartoons on, so they might as well
No.
Right.
eat mac and cheese with mom and dad and watch Magnum PI, so you can kind of know ahead of time whether something lewd might occur, like
Mhm.
Mhm.
2-inch inseams. You know,
Like Jessica Walters.
like Jessica Walters.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Jessica
I loved her
Walters.
so much.
Okay.
It took me entirely too long to figure out that was Jessica Walters.
Yes.
At one point,
Very much the same.
it was well after she mentioned being 39, and I'm like, there is no way that woman is 39 years
Mhm.
old.
Did you know?
But it was the
No,
80s.
she went 30.
Yeah,
39.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was gonna say 47, and
But
instead she
then I'm
said
like,
39.
yeah, but it's the 80s, and people smoked back then a lot.
No,
so like,
no.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
then-
lying. It's
Oh,
the
yeah,
same thing.
you're
There's
right.
like a big that it went around. It was like maybe a month and a half ago, and it was everybody was posting the video of the clip from the Golden Girls where Blanche is saying that she's like 39 years old, and it's like,
Yep.
no, she's lying. What are
Right.
you do? You
Uh-huh.
yeah,
come on, man.
that's true.
She had her birth date legally removed from her birth certificate. She changed the dates, the birth and death dates on her parents' graves. She's done a lot of things. No one knows how old Blanche is. It's a whole plot, several episodes. It's fine. I get riled up.
Before we get too far into the episode, though, I have to say this is an opening and an opening theme that I'd never skip.
It's
Oh, I didn't.
no.
I
Oh
couldn't.
yeah.
It came up
absolutely.
skip intro, and I was like, who? No.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. To the point where at the end, when it was like doing the next episode countdown, and then it was like stay on credits, I was like, yeah,
Yeah, well.
we're
Mhm.
staying here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Higgins' hairline upset me way more in this episode than previously.
Dude, same.
Incomprehensible. I don't understand it.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's
It
so
goes all the way
full.
to the front. Yeah, and then
Uh-huh.
there's like a triangle missing. I was upset.
That is not a naturally occurring hairline.
No,
There
that
you
is
will not
can't be.
convince me of
razored
that. It cannot be.
Perfect. My wife we watched this as a family tonight, which was the 1991 living room or whatever for me because my son was like, we sat down for dinner and he's like, can we watch some YouTube? I was like, no, I'm not watching any more Mr. Beast. I can't handle it anymore. It's just so loud. And then he was like, well, what are we
Mhm.
going to watch? I was like, Magnum PI. How's that sound? What's Magnum PI? Is it stupid? No. I don't want to watch it if it's
No.
real life. And I was like, it's real. You watched 3 seasons of Superman and Lois with me, dude. You can handle real life.
Yes,
And so he's like, fine. And then he watched the whole episode. But anyway, I said all that to say that Stephanie watched this, and she did too. Also pointed out Higgins' ridiculous hair. It bothered her
It's
a lot.
just not. I don't understand it. And I didn't notice it last time, but this one,
Yeah.
it was a lot.
A lot
Maybe it
of
was because
Higgins
he was-
bothered me.
There was a lot of well,
Yeah.
Higgins barking up the wrong tree. All right, so we open with Higgins has gone to pick up Pamela Bates, who is right because we have to remember that this all takes place on the palatial estate of Robin Masters, who is an author.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Who I don't know. I haven't watched enough Magnum PI. Do we ever meet him?
No.
Or is he always okay? I am a
No,
sucker.
in fact, There's a fan theory that Higgins is
Is
Robin Masters.
Masters.
Oh.
I don't
I
know how prominent it is, but I know I've read that
I
before.
am such a sucker for the character that gets talked about all the time and you never see.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Not like Charlie from Charlie's Angels. Like that doesn't count because
Right.
Charlie's very present. In Murder She Wrote, Sheriff Mort, his wife, Adele, never see her.
Mhm.
Hear about her all the time. Never see her. Golden Girls, Dorothy's brother Phil.
Mhm.
Never see him. Go to his funeral. Never saw him.
The
I'm such a sucker for it. I love it.
one of my favorites of that is Psych had that where in the Santa Barbara Police Department, the one detective would always be talking to Dobson,
Mhm.
and he would talk about or yell at Dobson, but you never saw Dobson
I love
until
it.
the final episode. They
Ooh.
revealed who Dobson was, and in the final episode, he was played by Val Kilmer.
Incredible.
Oh, nice.
And throughout the series, they would make references to Val Kilmer all the time. So then they finally reveal him as Dobson. It was brilliant.
I love that. So Higgins is going to pick up Pamela Bates, who was Robin Masters' editor in the early days.
Mhm.
And her friend, well, we don't know, but a woman, Joan, and Joan's secretary, Amy. And they're all going over to the estate. On the way, they are pretty much almost run off the road by a truck. Harrowing.
Oh, yeah.
Wind up halfway, in a ditch off the side of the road.
Mhm.
Nearly off the side of a mountain.
Yeah,
Right.
because Hawaii. Okay, so meanwhile, the B plot of this episode, as was alluded to in Travis's introduction.
Because we got to have TC and Rick. They have to be
Yep,
in the
they
episode.
gotta be in there
Gotta get him
somehow.
in. Okay, so Rick and TC are trying to get Magnum to invest in them in some land on Maui.
Mhm.
And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, people go to the beach. It's so far. Like, why would anyone want to be this far inland? And they're like, no. They're gonna put up a hotel and it'll be great. It's gonna triple like immediately. So he's gonna work on getting the money. And his
Because they need
very
it now.
tank top is longer than his shorts.
Oh,
Mhm.
It's
yeah.
so good.
Does that man have pants
Yeah.
on?
And he's damp.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
absolutely
so
delightful.
those were absolutely like just standard issue shorts in the.
Oh, for sure. If you go watch
Yeah.
80s
Oh, yeah.
basketball,
Oh, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's
You just-
wild.
You are inches
Mhm.
from just the testicle just hanging out.
Just yeah.
Yeah. Just one leg lift away.
But everybody's wearing tighty whities, so it was
Oh,
not
yeah,
an
right.
issue.
Everything
was
is
very
gathered
secure.
in. Yeah, the old
Yep.
Very
briefs.
secure.
Briefs were in
Mhm.
vogue at the time, ladies and gentlemen.
They
You
had
might
to
be.
be.
They
Yeah.
absolutely were.
They had
Yeah.
to
They
be.
had to be.
Yeah, it was a necessity to wear briefs at that point because
Yes.
There's nowhere else to go.
Nope.
Yep.
Mhm.
So Rick's making the sales pitch to Magnum, who says he'll all right, he's gonna try and get a loan. But we'll see how that goes. And meanwhile, so Higgins gets back, the car's all scratched up. And so Magnum is, of course, immediately sniffing around, right? I mean,
Yep.
rightfully so. It's
Yeah.
kind of what he does.
Right.
So Higgins is introducing the ladies, and Joan, played by Jessica Walters,
Mhm.
phenomenally
So
is like
yeah,
really likes them short shorts.
she
Mhm.
needed to like put the signal out there that she wanted Magnum or something. She was just being way too subtle. Just
She
way
was
too
so
subtle.
subtle, especially in the next scene. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
So Magnum's trying to get the story from Higgins as to what happened. And he's like, "Don't worry about it. It's just a police matter. It was just like an accident. It was just dumb." And
Mhm.
the secretary Amy points out that, well, maybe they set out to do something stupid because they didn't have a license plate. Interesting.
She's
Mhm.
very observant. By the way, she was played by Stephanie Ferrisy,
Mhm.
who I immediately recognized because right around this time she was in a movie that is near and dear to my heart from my childhood, The Great Outdoors, with
Oh
John Candy
man,
and Dan Aykroyd.
Oh,
I
okay.
love
And
that
she
movie.
plays John. She plays John Candy's wife in that movie.
Right.
And yeah, so it's just like the second I saw her, all I could think of was a line from that movie that I won't repeat now. But it's a very good movie.
It's great.
So, there's so many people in this episode. All right, so Pamela insists that Joan and Amy stay at the estate. They were going to stay at a
Mhm.
hotel. You stay here. It will be safer.
Mhm.
It's gated. It's palatial. Great. Okay,
Mhm.
fine. Magnum is packing up to go to Maui
Yep.
with TC and Rick.
Because nobody wants him for the job here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not doing anything, and there's like an internal monologue about reverse psychology and how obviously Higgins is saying that they don't want him to do it just so he'll do it, and it's like, Magnum, baby, sweetheart, honey bunch.
I was so mad
Mhm.
though. I was so mad at Higgins this whole episode because it's not like Magnum hasn't helped out with 7 seasons worth of crime, and Higgins is
Right.
just
Yeah.
it felt so. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Who are you trying to impress? What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Well,
I
The
was
ladies,
mad.
apparently.
yeah, and
Well, we
like
get like kind of part of that because like Pamela thinks that somebody's trying to kill her.
Right.
mhm.
But we learn later that Higgins is like, no, I have a very colorful past. It's
Mhm.
Right.
probably a hired assassin sent to kill me. Yeah, man. Is it your hair?
Yeah. And he dressed like a
Whoever
safari
did
guy
that to
on
you?
safari later on in the
All right.
episode.
Yeah.
I have comments about that.
Okay.
Because he and Magnum are essentially wearing the same
Yeah,
outfit
they
in
are.
very different ways.
I noticed that too. I was like, those are the
Mhm.
same pants, but they don't look the same on
They are
you.
not the same. So Magnum's packing his little duffel bag. And there's a knock on the door, which he thinks is Higgins coming to be like, "Oh, actually, can you help us out?" And he's like, "No, I told you I'm going to Maui. I'm leaving for Maui in 15 minutes." And he opens the door and it's Joan, and she goes, "I'll only need 5." I can't. It's so good.
Oh, it's great.
She offers him twice his normal rate.
Mhm.
Man, for 5 minutes, come on, man. Why
Right?
not?
Yeah.
Look at her.
Yeah, she's fine. Is she considered a cougar at this age going after Magnum, or were they close enough that it's like
I
it's
think
okay?
it's more of a it's like a way of life.
It's
I
just
feel
her.
like
It's a lifestyle choice.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
I think
knocking
she
it.
can
I'm just
count.
fine. Just
No,
trying to
I think she
find out.
counts.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, you were just
because he's a
you're,
young buck.
terminology.
You know.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
and
say
it's
that, but
not.
like Tom Selleck was in his early 40s by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Magnum.
right.
That's a good
It's
point.
different.
We don't know.
Mhm.
Plus, I still think it's the attitude is
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh,
He
yeah.
just
big
happens
time.
to be above a certain age.
Mhm.
That
Yes.
doesn't
Yep.
isn't necessarily necessary.
So my son, as cool as he is, though, my son pointed out if you cover your eyes and you just listen to him, he said he kind of sounds like a nerdy teenager. I was like,
Mhm.
wait, what? And sure
No,
enough,
he
you
was-
cover your eyes, and his voice is just high enough that you're like, okay, I would buy that.
He's also really kind of whiny in this one.
Yeah, I think that was
A
what
little
Sam
bit.
was getting at. He's a very,
Mhm.
Yeah.
very empathic.
He is a
kid.
little bit, but like everybody is just ragging on him.
Yeah.
I mean,
The whole
Higgins is
time.
against him.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Pamela keeps calling him a bum and a layabout, and she's
Oh, he
never
gets
met him
called
before.
so many. He gets called an idiot.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's been. They've been there 5 minutes. They don't even know this guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I get it from the police captain. That makes sense.
Yeah. They have a
Oh, right.
history.
Yeah.
So Joan says that all Magnum has to do is keep her safe until the private investigator arrives. Well, this is like the last straw, right?
Mhm.
So he talks to Higgins on his way out to the helipad, and Higgins won't tell him anything.
Nope.
Um,
Nope.
Meanwhile, in the background, Amy peels out in the Ferrari.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Where's she going?" "Oh, she wanted to go shopping." And Joan isn't back with the Audi. And he's like, "You just let them go?" It's like, "Yeah, man, they're
Yeah.
not prisoners." So Magnum gets on the helicopter. TC's gonna fly him over to Maui.
Right.
And this goes really off the rails. Because you need a flight plan. But instead,
Yeah.
Magnum sees Amy in the Ferrari
Whatever. It's Hawaii. Yeah.
because it's very distinctive. There's a lot of distinctive vehicles in this episode of
Yes, there
people
are.
who are trying to be sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I may have
So
made a
he's
note
like,
about that for later.
"Well, let's follow her." And Tisa's like, "Man, I just want to go to Maui." They're just like trying to, and he's like, so meanwhile, Rick's like, did you get the loan? And he's like, "Well, I put in I only just got the application." Like, "What do you mean? We just called our banks and got it." And he's like, "Well, I'm not as liquid as you guys."
I like that a lot.
It was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, he said
You know,
that.
have you ever
He said that
you
in
ever
the
been out
front
with those
yard.
friends who make more than you? You know what I
Oh.
mean? And you're like, "Ooh, I'm getting a side salad."
Like, I didn't know this restaurant was a $16 a plate kind of place. Oh,
Yeah,
that used to sound
side
expensive.
Caesar, no chicken. Thanks.
Also, I have to say, I felt a tinge of just Magnum, the more old man, compared to the young guys that were like, "Yeah, we just called our bank, dude."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's all like, "I got paperwork. Like, you could just call them."
Also, no bank's giving you a permission for a loan in a day. Like,
Yeah.
that's
No.
light
No.
speed.
Mhm.
But yeah, he needed a deed to put on collateral. So I was
Yeah.
like, where's he gonna get? Because doesn't he live with Robin Masters? Like, what deed would he even have?
Well, I think it's the deed for the property that they're buying.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
It's like it's like a loop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Amy is seen going into a office building,
Not a shopping center.
not a
Right.
shopping center. The shopping district isn't anywhere near here. We find that out later. And at one point, there's something about going down. Like, I forget. And so Magnum's like, "Yeah, take it down." And it's like, no, we're just gonna land
On anybody's roof,
Mhm.
anywhere, it's
Yeah,
fine.
sure.
Fantastic.
TC's got carte blanche to just put that
Yeah.
thing anywhere he wants.
That's fine.
It's a small helicopter. It doesn't weigh that much. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So this gets a little fuzzy. So there's the man in the blue car.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But before
Another. Okay, go
that,
ahead.
Magnum comes out of the office building following her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right, he's standing there, and then we
That's
get
it.
more voiceover. And
Mhm.
he changed between the roof of the building and the street as
Yep.
well, because he had been wearing like pants and a tie when he
Mhm.
left the estate.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's in an Aloha shirt and shorts again.
Mhm.
Continuity
Well,
error.
I mean, he's got a bag, you know.
I mean, Batman changes a whole outfit going down a pole. I think Magnum
Yeah.
can do it in an elevator.
Just saying, I
Probably.
noticed
He's
it.
not afraid to get him out.
Did
So,
you see that lady with the Louis Vuitton buying a hot dog also? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I pointed, I said, that's a Louis Vuitton, because I thought they were new. Which
Mhm.
my wife said they've been around for a million years.
Long time.
I was like, oh.
We've been dead for a while.
I had no idea.
Magnum eats a lot in this episode.
He eats so much in
Yeah.
this episode, and it's so good. There's a meal that I have a lot of comments about in a bit.
I know the comments.
Okay, so there's a man in the blue car approaches Amy. She freaks out, gets in the Ferrari, and takes off.
Mhm.
And the blue car follows her.
Mhm.
So Magnum goes back to the house to find out if this is the private eye that was the mystery private eye.
Right.
Right.
And to see if Amy's back. And it's no on both counts. So Pamela's calling him an idiot because he didn't, like, oh, you saw her being followed, but you didn't get a license plate. Good work. Meanwhile, a call comes in from the police. The Ferrari has been found with no sign of Amy.
Ruh-roh.
Yike.
So Magnum goes to the police station, as one does.
Mm-hmm.
But Pamela has already gotten ahead of him because she wants him nowhere near the case. I don't know why.
Yeah, no idea.
No reason.
And so she said that it's her niece. Amy is her niece who's missing. We get some back and forth with the police captain who, they've done this before. You know how it is. All of these shows with the not official channels interacting with the official channels, and it gets real squirrely. So while he's on the phone, Magnum happens to be able to get he goes
sneaks
through
into
the
his
purse,
office.
right?
Yeah, he sneaks into his
he
office.
sneaks into the captain's
Yeah.
office, and the evidence is on the desk.
The evidence is in the captain's office and not in the evidence lockup, and it's just in a
Right.
Ziploc bag, which Magnum opens and handles with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Of destroying any potential of finding fingerprints of any perpetrator.
Yep.
And you start to go, I get why the cops do not want him in
Yeah.
their business.
Yeah, this seems not ideal. So Magnum when he comes in the office, Magnum pretends to be on the phone. Which doesn't work out so great.
Real smooth.
But he's informed that Joan did not come home last night. No one should be surprised.
No, this doesn't, and it's not long enough to call them a missing person. You know, not even close.
So Magnum gets it in his head that because Pamela is an editor, that this is all a publicity stunt for a book, which is actually that's a decent leap. I don't mind that.
Not a bad working theory, considering.
Yeah.
Point.
But Pamela's like, Joan's not even a writer. Well, if she's not a writer, then why does she have a secretary? Like a writer could afford a sec. What are we doing? They're not what Magnum?
No.
They're not that liquid.
Nobody makes money making things. What universe are you in?
Yeah. So she storms off. Pamela storms off because she's had enough of Magnum. So he's gonna go find out. Is this when he talks to Higgins and they're both wearing like all tan? But Higgins's pants are like around his nipples.
Yeah, Higgins' pants are something else. I was trying to figure them out. I'm like, okay, they're up well above his belly button. They've got like the fattest.
Which was,
buckle.
I mean, that is the waistband. So thick.
It was thick, yeah. The thick, and you can imagine they're those like Dickies style like clip pants, you know, like.
Yeah.
I looked at him and said, he looks like he's gonna go hunt an elephant.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
And it looks odd because both pairs of pants are the same length from waist to floor. It's just that Tom Selleck is 6'4", and John Hillerman is like 5'7".
Yeah.
So
legs for days on Magnum PI.
Yes.
So good. So Magnum's gonna go to that office building and find out what Amy was doing there.
Right.
Apparently they record everything in this building. And my favorite is the secretary reading back the transcription, because I love this in court dramas too, right? Because it's always the most like monotone read in the entire world, and it's so good.
I love it. I think it's accurate because you can't. Reading a transcript, especially in a court case, you have to remove all the inflection, because if you don't, you sway opinion. Like you could use the same words 3 different ways, and it creates 3 different attitudes, and pictures in your head.
It's just a very specific cadence.
It's a very interesting. It's not newscaster. It's like real weird.
Yeah, and they have to read everyone's name.
Yes,
like the name of each person that's speaking. It's so good.
So somehow his inquiries have gotten him up to the president of the company. And the president says that Amy never set foot in the building and that some idiot just saw him there. And
Mhm.
Magnum
Lord.
says something, and the president goes, "Oh, you're the idiot."
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, Magnum, you're not
And
having a good time, bud.
It's
No.
really not.
He's having
It's
one of
really
those
not.
days where when you do one wrong thing and it gets worse. Like your confidence gets wrecked
Mhm.
just a little bit and you just keep making more mistakes.
Yeah.
You're like, I
Mhm.
can't win. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yep.
Now this is my favorite part, in this era before cell phones.
Yes.
Because Magnum receives a phone call. How? No one knows. Phenomenal
idea.
stuff. Absolute so random. I
Yep.
love it.
Because they knew to call Magnum at this building
At this building.
time.
At this random building. Anyway, it's his doctor friend. Because a prescription had been called in to the pharmacy in Amy's name to be delivered to the Seaview Hotel. So Magnum goes and picks it up and has an ice cream.
Yeah.
Like
Who
we-
In
gets
the
in
Ferrari.
a Ferrari with a chocolate ice
not-
cream cone? You
It's not
psycho.
his.
I don't care. Come on. I watched him do that and then like, you can't look tough eating ice cream like that. I mean, what are you doing?
No.
And you're in a Ferrari. Man, my dad will lose it if we got in the van and asked for ketchup. Like I don't think so.
Right. Okay. Maybe nobody else can look tough, but damn it, Tom Selleck still looked tough.
You're
to me.
Yeah,
right.
he looked pretty good. I
I'm
mean,
just
I wasn't
jealous.
complaining. It was real good.
Right.
Okay, so this is the smartest part.
Oh, I loved this.
Oh
This
yeah.
is the
I
best part
absolutely
of
loved this.
Magnum's
Gold
whole
medal.
adventure here.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets out of the car and knocks on a door. It is not the correct door.
But we don't know that yet.
We don't know that.
Right.
But he gets out and knocks on a door, walks around, gets in the car, pulls out, and goes away. And wouldn't you know, right behind him is the very distinctive blue car.
Because the very inconspicuous.
The
there.
inconspicuous
Only
blue
one
car.
of them on the Hawaiian Islands. Totally.
Right.
Yeah. Who breaks into the room that Magnum knocked on the door of. So Magnum sneaks back around with his gun. He's going to catch this guy. Unfortunately, the man whose room it is comes back and hits Magnum over the head with a bag of groceries.
Yep.
So good.
So the blue car man escapes, not without shooting his gun all over the place.
I had one note, by the way, at one
yeah.
point because he's firing, right? Just
Mhm.
indiscriminately.
Yeah.
Hits the door frame and then runs off. Magnum follows him. And my note was, did a bullet hit that car or did a bird poop on it? I couldn't tell what it was supposed to be.
Don't even worry about it.
And I gotta say, like, I know it's a time and we've come so much farther than that, but it felt like such a slow motion shootout.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. The action
Mhm.
level of action in an 80s drama is somewhat different than today.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're
Mhm.
only like 10 years out of, westerns,
Right.
So
Yeah.
this is high speed compared to that. So,
Yeah.
True.
action.
So Magnum goes and knocks on the correct door.
Oh, but we do get right before that, we do get Magnum very
Oh, yeah.
well getting the license plate this time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
The
did get the license
easiest
plate.
license plate to remember you could possibly have. It's like CAW 820.
Mhm.
Yeah.
CAW. If you can phonetically pronounce the letters in the license
Yes.
plate, get a new
Yes.
one if you plan to commit crime.
Right.
And then, I mean, the other thing is that he's not only is he driving around in a red Ferrari, it is a red Ferrari with the license plate Robin 1. Like, I don't, it's not good.
No.
He dropped his gun in the incorrect room. It goes back, and the guy just opens the door a little and like is holding it. And it's so funny.
It's
He just
so
hands it
great.
back out the door.
Like,
He's like, "Thanks."
No interaction, just to hand
No.
out the door with the gun. It's like,
Yeah.
I
here you go.
laughed out
Thanks,
loud
it's
at
so
that.
funny.
It was perfect.
So he knocks on the correct door. Amy opens the door and he's like, pharmacy delivery. Like, well.
You're just like when he knocked on her door and she answered, I was like, wait, oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh.
wow.
It was the best part.
Right.
Maybe we
Mhm.
should hire the guy who knows what he's doing for this case.
Yeah.
Well, he can't get
Because
Higgins
he
to
saw
vouch
the
for
bright
him.
blue car behind
Right.
him. So, he asks what the hell's going on because everybody back at the house, well, Pamela, because Joan is,
Uh-huh.
Pamela, is panicking. Like, where have you been? Why did you vanish? So he's taking her back to the mansion, and she says that she panicked when she was being followed, and she assumed she'd broken up with somebody back in New York, and she assumed that the person who was following her was sent to bring her back.
Mhm.
Okay, sure. There's this becomes a little clearer next week. It's fine.
Ooh, okay. Good stuff.
So, it's really good because Magnum gets back with Amy, and Pamela's
Mhm.
obviously like, "Where were you? You had us, had the police looking for you. This was
Right.
terrible, whatever." Magnum's like, "Well, I'm not on the case, so I'm just not. I'm not on the case, and I'm sure that you would rather wait for your investigator." And Pamela's like, "She's already here." Bam! My girl,
Mhm.
Jessica Fletcher, coming down the stairs, not dressed for Hawaii.
Nope.
No.
But that's okay. And I love Jessica because like her whole vibe is like she's very big on the innocent until proven guilty when she works a case.
Mhm.
And she's just friendly with everybody.
Yep.
She's just a nice, quaint, small town New England lady. Like she
Yeah.
likes everybody, so she's psyched. She's like, Magnum, Mr. Magnum,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
nice to meet you. Um,
I also like him getting all flustered that it like J.P. Fletcher,
right is
Right.
a woman.
which is made even funnier by the final shot of the episode. But we'll get
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is literally every book jacket, but it's
Mhm.
fine.
Mhm.
So he's like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm not investigating whatever. And
so
she's
petty.
like, I'm not investigating anything. Like, I
Yeah.
got a telegram from a friend saying someone was trying to kill her, and it happened to be in Hawaii, so here I am.
Yeah.
All right, so so Higgins comes in from the garden. Higgins is filthy,
Mhm.
and Higgins is instantly in love.
Yeah.
I have
Oh,
some
yeah.
bad news for Higgins. Jessica's husband has been dead for like 2 decades and she still wears her wedding ring. This is not good news for you, Higgins.
Mm.
She has a
No,
gay
totally
best
not.
friend back home. It's not happening, bud. But it's not happening. But Jessica manages to know exactly what he was doing out in the garden. She's an
Yep.
avid gardener, which he's like, be still my beating heart.
Yep.
The infatuation just gets stronger.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Pamela's like, Jessica's like, what is going on? Pamela's like, well, I just, he's a bum and I needed your help. It's like, no, well, you need professional help.
And this right here is a professional.
Yeah,
Maybe we should listen
maybe
to
this
him.
one. But this is interrupted by Higgins, who still has dirt on his forehead and his inexplicable hair, announcing that lunch is served. Maine lobster. Babe,
Mhm.
babe, you're in Hawaii. She gets that back home like 2 minutes out of the water. Like,
Mhm.
and they were on the same flight. I don't like which I do like here in Boston. You can at Logan Airport go to Legal Seafood and get a live lobster in a box that you and your fellow airline passengers can race up and down the aisles on your flight. But or you
Nice.
can eat it when you get to your destination. But
Sure.
Either one.
you can get a live lobster in a little box. Okay. Then comes the most awkward lunch ever devised by man. Magnum's at the kids' table. They are just eating, like he says something about like lobster salad, but it is just like a whole ass lobster on a couple of leaves of lettuce.
It's
Which if I was
fantastic.
there, I'd be like, oh, I had that yesterday, but like, can I get some point? Like, literally anything else. Something local? No?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's like when you go, you're from the South, and you like grits, and then you go to New York to eat with a family. Like, we made grits like you have downstate. You're like, no, I promise you, they're not the same. You didn't. I will try to eat them, but we are not gonna. This isn't okay.
No, I mean lobster. Lobster is
Lobster's lobster,
hard
but you
to-
know.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean?
for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
I don't want you to make my hometown food. Show me what you got.
Mhm.
Yeah. Give me that.
Poutine in the U.S. There's a good example.
Right.
That is a good example.
Mhm.
That said, I've only had poutine in the US, so
But I
somehow
did
managed to go to Canada and not get it.
I loved the way this scene unfolded because Jessica is complimenting the table setting and
Right.
Yep.
the centerpiece. And then she does ask, but isn't there a way we could like squeeze one more in? And it's Magnum is
It's the
across
kids'
the room.
table.
It's just a TV tray.
Tiniest-
I was gonna
it's
say.
so good. And the wicker,
Yeah.
Yep.
because obviously.
He just
And
gets
he's like,
them
"No, I'm
used.
fine. Don't worry."
Meanwhile, Joan appears.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so good.
So many good lines
There's
on this.
so many good lines. She brought a boy home.
Of course.
Now,
Yep.
I know that in other podcasts that we have listened to, they do a Star Trek connection when you have an actor that's in Star Trek. When
Mhm.
I watch Murder She Wrote, I do the Golden Girls connection because they
Oh,
have
there you
very similar casts. So the boy she brought home, he also was in an episode of the Golden Girls.
Nice.
But and this show, the Murder She Wrote, was great because they were always hiring actors that needed their SAG cards for their insurance,
Mhm.
like older
Oh.
actors. So that was a big thing. So I feel like it's like they get in the circuit, right?
Right.
And then you're just doing all of them. Great.
Mhm.
So it's great because Magnum's like, what? Why? Literally, the police are looking for you. Why are you coming back right now? And she's like, I've been in these clothes since yesterday.
To which Pamela
Pamela.
says,
Pamela.
Pamela says, I doubt it.
and the look.
Yeah.
The way
Ma'am.
she said it and the look was just mwah.
She's on Joan's on vacation.
Mhm.
Let her let her cook, man.
Right.
She's the only one
Don't
doing Hawaii
judge.
right.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
She's been on the beach. She found a man. Everything's
Mhm.
going great for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's only 39.
Yeah, she doesn't need to be babysat.
She is magical.
So Jason, the man that she brought back, says, well, why don't you all come to the party at my house?
That whole line that gave me anxiety because I thought he's inviting these random people to his house
Mhm.
at 5:00 like today. I was like, what are we?
Yeah.
Don't you need time to like figure this out? I was like, I can't. Nope.
No,
I
he
gotta
was
go
already
ask
having
people.
a thing.
I know.
No, he's got people. He's
Mhm.
he's a money guy, so he's
Yeah,
got
he can-
people.
Yeah.
This party is fine.
Yeah. For me,
You
I'm like,
know,
I
a
gotta go
handful
look at
more
the
is not-
calendar. I gotta talk to my wife. I gotta see what
Yeah.
what food we
Mhm.
like.
Right.
You're not getting
He
invited to
just
my
picked
house
up a strange
impromptu.
lady on a beach.
True.
He's
got
It's
swagger.
different in Hawaii. They're way chiller
Island
than us.
culture. Yeah.
Yeah. So Higgins is like, well, Mr. Masters is expected home tonight. And Jessica says that it's probably not safe for anybody to leave till we find out what's going on. Magnum is like, there's nothing going on. There's no case, and I'm not on it.
Right.
And no one's telling him anything, and he's the only one who's been shot at, which is fair.
Oh yeah.
That's a fair.
Mhm.
But then the shadow appears outside the room and shoots at him again.
Yep.
Magnum casually jogs after
Yeah.
the
Right.
shooter. Because he realizes he's like, Joan didn't shut the gate.
Mm.
Mhm.
Which is probably how it is. He tells Higgins that he's like, all right, I'll take the case.
Right.
And Higgins is like, there's no.
I just love that he jogged outside to go see this guy. Huge plane of nothing, and where'd the guy go? Okay.
Yeah,
Gone.
vanished.
Was not
Mhm.
jogging casually.
He did that thing where he hid behind the corner of a wall and Magnum ran right past him.
Right past
Yes.
him. He was just singing the theme song in his head. and Just Higgins says that Magnum should probably stay out of it, as he's clearly not super stable about things. But Magnum is like, no. And Jessica's like, all right, well, listen. She talks to Magnum and she's like, I have a few small things that I have noticed that I feel might help you with your case. One of the things that she says is like, if Joan was on the beach all day, why is she not more flushed? Which, Jessica, we've already established she probably wasn't on the beach all day, babe.
Mhm.
Babe, pick up. I know it's been a while, but pick up a hint. There was a whole thing where Amy had said that her ring was fake, but Jessica is like, it's not.
Mhm.
Jessica learned a lot about jewelry for one of her books.
Mhm.
Magnum is not paying attention. He's like, this is not relevant information. There's a voiceover, right? And it's like, it's fine for writers, but it's not. This is not. Or he says it. I don't even remember.
I was kind of
Right.
taken aback that Jessica was just hanging out in his room with him in a robe and his hair all wet in a towel. I was like, could he get some clothes on first before he
It's
just?
more than he's worn the rest of the episode, though.
That's actually true. He's
Mhm.
more covered, yet I'm also uncomfortable. I'm like, how would it?
That bathrobe was longer than 90% of his pants.
That's true.
So Jessica's digging the bullet out of the wall, talking to Higgins back in the but they ate none of that lobster.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
All of that
No.
lobster gone to waste. And they're establishing the trajectory. And Higgins is like, this is where Higgins is like, I believe that bullet was for me because I have a very storied past and a colorful past. And all right.
It's funny because this is one of those crime shows where instead of everybody's the possible person, it's like everybody thinks they're the victim.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Magnum's theory is that the person who is following Amy is a hitman for Joan.
Mm-hmm.
Because we find out that the reason that Joan has a secretary is that her husband died and left her the business.
Right.
And so she needs someone to help her run the business. So Joan has money. Sorry, my cat just ran 90 miles an hour. So there's like, so they're talking about, and so Higgins is like, well, Joan and Amy went to the party because I could not stop them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So fast forward, everybody's going to the party.
So up to this point, though, here's what we've got. We've got Magnum thinks it's the guys after Joe.
Yeah.
Higgins thinks the guys after him.
Mhm.
Oh, and Pamela thinks the guys after her,
Mhm.
Yep.
which is why she brought
Right, we
Jessica.
find that out now, I believe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the party. So at the party, Pamela talks to Jessica and says that she has evidence that someone's embezzling royalties, and she's got some incriminating papers. Higgins and Magnum have some sort of plan. Higgins says that he'll wait half an hour for this hitman to show up, and then he's taking the women and going home.
Which also, like, Magnum with what he was going back and forth with Rick about it, figuring out that this guy's a hitman
yeah.
named
Mayfield.
Mayfield, because that was the name that the car was
right. That's the name that's got thrown
rented
around.
under.
By the
So
way,
we keep calling him-
professional hitman
Renting a
Rents
car
a
under his
car.
own name.
under his own name,
Mhm.
and then when he knows somebody has seen him in that car that he's driven away in, doesn't
Drives
ditch
it
the
up
car.
to a party.
Right. He keeps it.
Mhm.
Cool
It's a nice
car.
car. Yeah.
I mean, it was an IROC Z. I get it.
So Jessica's like talking to Pamela and is like, look, we'll get on the first flight back to New York. I'll go with you. We will take care of this. Meanwhile, Magnum is skulking around and sees the car pull into the driveway.
Yep.
Got him. Okay, and this is where it all falls apart a little bit because they looked at the clock and said, "Oh, we got 3 minutes.
We gotta get through this. We gotta
We
finish
have
this
got to
episode."
tie this up." So Magnum shoots him.
So
Yep.
first Mayfield shows up. He's starting to sneak around, and Magnum
Yeah.
comes up behind him. He's like, "Hands up, I got you." And then we get our little chase, which basically feels like they just literally run circles around the house.
Yeah.
Mayfield's actually greeted at the party by the
Yes.
host.
Mhm.
Like they all
Yeah.
know each other.
And one of the other guys. Yeah.
We'll never know
How's
because
the wife?
Mayfield
Yeah.
was
Mhm.
killed.
Right.
Our only
Mhm.
link to this whole operation that we could question. That's okay.
When do we find out about the property? Was it earlier? Did I miss it? Or is it now?
No,
It was earlier.
was it earlier?
All right.
Because
Yeah.
part of Magnum figuring out about Mayfield is him talking to Rick about
Oh,
the
yeah.
property and stuff.
So Rick, on the biggest cell phone in existence, calls from the property. They're like, "Hey, we put up your down payment. Beautiful flowers here."
TC holding the flowers, was
Holding the
best sight
one
gag.
bulb is so good because it's like the roots are all. Oh, it's
And
so
He's
good.
just staring
then
around
the-
like,
The most
what am I
disgusted
doing?
Look.
And the one growing out of like trash.
TC's face is priceless. It is such a good
Yeah.
scene.
So good.
So good. Anyway, the land they bought is useless. It's
Yeah.
worthless. It's terrible. But they're maybe gonna plant some more flowers, make it a tourist attraction. It'll be worth money someday. Anyway, so we end the episode with Magnum on the couch with the JB Fletcher book.
Yeah.
With the biggest author photo in history on the back
Yep.
of the book. Magnum, buddy. It was right. She
Yeah.
doesn't make a secret of it.
Nope.
It's not like some authors that
Nope.
will not be named who have a male sounding, a male
Mhm.
pen name so that people don't know. Like it's not, it's right there.
It's right in
Her
front of you.
face.
There was also a really good flub of a line that they left
Mhm.
in, and I
Yeah.
caught it. If you guys would like me to play it,
Yes.
right
yes.
before while he's talking to Higgins at the very end.
Actually, we figure we can form a co-op with some of the other investors and promote the valley.
I listened to that twice because I was like, wait, did he? Yeah, he totally did. And they just
No, he just
left
flubbed it.
Yeah, he just
Yep.
flubbed it. Completely flubbed it. I also like how
very
Magnum gets beer out of his fridge from the upper level of the stairs
Yep.
and then proceeds to walk down the stairs.
Mhm.
I was like, that looked like you could hurt your back doing what you just did. just to go to the same spot when you get down the stairs. Anyway,
There's so much in this scene that I loved.
Mhm.
Like the
Yeah.
way he got the beer out of the fridge, and then he picks up the bottle opener and opens the beer, but then sets the bottle opener down in a different spot. So later, when he gets another beer, he's not going to know where that is.
No.
Yeah.
And then when Higgins brings him, oh, Mrs. Fletcher left this for you, and it's like it's a card on a newspaper,
Mhm.
and he reads the letter, like the note from her, but we don't know exactly what
No,
it
we
said,
don't
just
know.
some flattering things about Higgins. But in order to read it, he had to put on the biggest pair of
Oh my
glasses I have
God.
ever seen. Those glasses were
go.
larger than his shorts.
Yeah, for sure. Way more square footage. They're in
Yep.
again though. Big
They are.
Oh, I
glasses are
know.
in.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
they
I
are.
have.
I know
I have
Jessica
some.
wears giant glasses too, and I'm like,
Mhm.
Yeah, grandma,
Could I
grandpa chic.
peg it?
Yeah.
It's hanging
yeah,
around.
Oh, and on top of
I'm
all
moments
that,
away.
on top of all that, we have to throw in the rest of the plot we didn't get to fit in before, so
Yeah,
we
that's
can
true.
tell you what
Yeah.
actually happened.
Yeah. I watched the show twice. Once I was
Mhm.
taking notes and I wasn't able to follow very well because you had to really focus.
Yeah.
And despite taking notes, when you take notes, somehow you remember less. It's really stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. But then I watched it tonight and I followed it and I got to the end and I'm like, I know there's a dead guy at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened.
I
I have
mean,
no
it basically
Well,
Right.
breaks down like this. So Secretary Amy, something's up with her. We don't know what, but she's acting real shady.
mhm.
Joan, the hitman was for Joan
Mm-hmm.
to try and
Yes.
take her business from
Okay.
her, because the president of whatever Pack Isle company that Amy went to was at the party and was friends with the
Yes.
hitman,
Yeah.
Mhm.
who also are all friends with the guy running the party.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
there's that kind of whole angle
He's a
there.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Amy thing, there's like two layers to that. She went there to like basically effectively Magnum's whole theory was correct,
Right.
but then there's something else going on with Amy, and there's something going on with Pamela that we don't know,
Mhm.
because she confided in Jessica about
Right.
things off
Yeah.
camera. Like they did a cutaway and came back, and Jessica's like, "Well, then we're leaving."
Yeah.
And
Well,
Mhm.
I
They're
mean,
gonna-
they
she
said
said it.
she said the embezzling thing,
Right.
the embezzling
and
thing.
then they go
Oh,
back, and Jessica's like, "Well, we're gonna
We'll
go.
go talk to the cops.
We'll get the
We'll get that
first
figured.
flight."
Yeah, something shady with Amy, but doesn't have anything to actually do with this, but she
Yeah.
thinks it does. So
Yeah.
Everybody's got some
Um,
sort of problem that could result in
Right.
a hitman chasing them down.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And Higgins thinks he's just so special.
Yeah, Higgins
There's
is a
a real-
turd this whole episode. I just
He is
had no
really.
time for Higgins. Like you got Magnum PI who has helped you endlessly around
Mhm.
Hawaii, and you're just like, I don't know if you need to work this case. I don't think it's good for you.
And it
Uh,
was a thing throughout the series of Higgins,
Was it?
like
Okay.
not loving Magnum and
Yeah.
reluctantly reticent to give him any praise and all that, but still,
Okay,
it
but
felt
then
really, really a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
so we end with Higgins saying that he hears Maine is quite lovely in the summer.
Mhm.
Whatever they have whatever the flower was that he was growing.
Right.
Yep.
You know. And and basically because it's all very veiled in that Magnum's like, yeah, man, go for it.
Yeah.
And I'm
Mhm.
telling you right now, man, nope, not Jessica Fletcher. No, sir, that is
No.
not. It's not how it goes.
Not with your safari
Um,
pants.
Yeah, no, man.
And still,
Not alone.
it doesn't matter if I see him in anything else. I still am shocked when I remember that John Hillerman is from Texas.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild.
Right.
Absolutely wild. Yeah, so they left a lot of questions in this episode, for very
did.
good reason. Because we're not done with this story.
What?
Um, Yeah, I'm gonna out of order. We're gonna talk about next week, and then we can go back and see if we had any feedback.
It's fine.
Because next week is the last week of crossovers week, and I believe Travis. And Travis,
Yes.
what are we doing next week, bud?
Well, we crossed over, and we're going to cross over again with Murder She Wrote, and it's going to be Murder She Wrote. Let's see, it was season 3, episode 8, Magnum on Ice. Jessica comes to the assistance of Magnum when he's framed for 2 murders that occurred during her vacation in Hawaii in Novel Connection.
Oh,
Yeah,
snap.
bud.
Let's,
Yeah,
those
bud.
were the days first.
Yeah, bud.
Wow.
Continuation.
Yep.
This is great.
So we get part 2 now.
Mm-hmm. I'm so
one of the
excited.
things I was reading about this particular Magnum PI episode, just some of the IMDb trivia and stuff, because it's always fun to see if there's anything on a particular episode.
Mhm.
And I had to mention this one because Larry Minetti stated that he did not enjoy working with Angela Lansbury, as she couldn't be bothered talking to him during filming. Larry got the vibe that Angela felt she was above him. Here's my
Wow.
contention with that, because you always take all your IMDb trivia with a
Right.
grain of salt anyway.
Sure.
Rick doesn't have a scene with her
No,
Yeah,
not even
in the
close.
episode.
Mm-mm.
He is on Maui by the time she shows up.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about there, Larry? I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't work with her at all. You were on the
Right.
same episode. She was on a show you did.
And I thought, well, maybe Rick is in the Murder She Wrote episode. Nope. The only
It's-
crossover it looks like is going to be Magnum and Higgins. So
Yeah. Well, and the police chief,
oh yeah.
I believe.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's I admit I've seen the Murder She Wrote one quite a few times on account of every time it comes on the Samsung channel, I'm like, let's go, it's Magnum time. You guys are really gonna dig their dynamic in this next one. It's way better.
Nice.
Way better.
I'm
Yeah, that
excited.
was, if I had a complaint about this episode, it's that it was a crossover, but we spent, I don't know, it was a weird amount of time doing other things and not enough crossover of
So-
Jessica helping with a case, which is what I was kind of expecting. And I'm sure I've seen this episode at some point, but just it was long enough ago that I may as well not have. And
It feels to me, because this is what, season 7 of Magnum PI, and we're
Mhm.
working with season 3 of Murder She Wrote.
Right.
Mhm.
So this feels like way more of a setup for the Murder She Wrote episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because there's we just went through how convoluted this entire episode is. There's
Mhm.
too much to cram into a Murder She Wrote to set up all these little dominoes that are going to fall over.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's way more of a setup for the other one than like, oh, look at this crossover over here. It's like we're explaining how we get Magnum in the other episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I read somewhere that at this point in Magnum's run, the ratings were failing pretty hard. Like they were
Mm.
just going down. So this was kind of like Magnum is drowning, so they threw out the Angela Lansbury life preserver and were like, hold on.
Yep.
We can
Yep.
keep you afloat for a minute. Because it was so weird because I wanted to enjoy it, but I was so confused for most of it because everything was
Mhm.
it was just too much of a ball of yarn. It went a little too far with the
It
multiple
really did.
characters being attacked and like who's the guy in the blue car. Like there was just so much going on. And then the Maui thing, just like, oh my gosh, it overran my memory buffer in my brain and I just lost.
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah.
big to start with.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a lot up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Maui thing was like, well, we have to put Rick and TC in the
Yeah.
episode.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Which was
here they
fine.
are.
You have them in it. Ditch the Amy subplot.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
She doesn't
get
but
away.
need to be there.
Yeah, but see.
But you need
But
it.
the hotel thing could still happen. Just rework that to be Joan or something.
No, but
Mhm.
we need it for Murder She Wrote.
Well, I understand that.
That's what I'm
just
saying. Is
saying
they
for
built
this
episode.
this
Setup.
episode. They built this episode as a setup rather
Got it.
than being its own better thing.
Mhm.
Because I agree with you. It's too many, but
Yeah.
and we get more Higgins. Did we get any feedback, gang?
I've got nothing in the email this
No.
week.
I didn't
Nope,
see
no
anything.
messages on the voice message thing, but we do have, if you want to send us a voice message, you can do that voicecast.app / duh.
Oh wait, I did get some Blue
Oh, no.
Sky commentary.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, cool.
our good friend Paul, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Giger?
I think
Sure.
it's Jaguar.
Okay. So when I posted about this last week, he was like, "Oh, the one with Angela Lansbury's character from Murder She Wrote. Definitely seen both sides of that crossover." And then he said, "What a great crossover! Tom and Angela had some great chemistry. My wife is a huge Murder She Wrote fan and has seen every episode multiple times."
Nice.
Awesome.
I'm considering getting giant glasses and a collection of cardigans. I'm thinking about entering my Jessica Fletcher era. Just rolling with it.
It's never too early,
It's really good.
Nice.
No.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. If I start now, I have way more time to enjoy it.
Heck
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I did do it was to the point where I did go on like one of the glasses websites that lets you do the virtual try on, and I was like, it's not it's not working. This is not it. We're gonna take some time to find some Jessica Fletcher glasses. Oh, I love it.
You need to do that so you can do, the clips of you recording the Aquilo book on tape.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the sweater
Looking
and the
like
big
that.
glasses.
Mhm.
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
damn. I'm going all
Mm.
in. This is it. Man, one book with my name on it, and look what happened. Anyway, you can still pre-order the Aquilo book one. Inkshares.com. All right, so you can email us at thosewerethedayshow@gmail.com. We're on
Yes.
the Blue Sky, thosedayshow. Social.
Yep.
You
Nailed it.
know, if you're there, you
Yep.
know.
If you know, you know. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
Um,
also, there is voicecast.app / those days show. You can leave
Great.
Okay.
a voice message as
I'll
well.
make a short link
Uh,
for that somewhere. I don't know what it'll be called, but it'll be twodorks.net / something to make it easy.
and
Sure.
and all our social media is in the show notes.
Yep.
So until next week and Murder She Wrote.
Where is that playing, by the way?
That's a good
That
question.
is
Besides,
Peacock.
Yeah.
On the Peacock.
And looks like Prime Video maybe too.
Oh, sweet.
I
Good.
believe so.
Multiple
Sweet.
options. And daily motion, upside down, backwards, and
Oh,
missing
wait,
every other
yes.
frame.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if it's there. I just assume.
I assume it's
Yes.
I mean it's
Pe-
if it's got a
Peacock and
Samsung
Prime.
channel, it's probably like a lot of random places. Tubi or
Everywhere.
Yep.
So until next week at Murder She Wrote, for Travis, for Audie, for Stephen, I am Amy, and thank you for listening to Those Were the Days.